living for me, traveling to Europe was an amazing experience, you know. And there's definitely it's something that I want to go back to, and even buy a house in France. And I already know the city. It's called Strasbourg.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if you ever been to
I haven't
Strasbourg.
heard about that. No, I haven't been there.
Oh, I just absolutely Strasbourg. And why I love it is it's an extreme, right? Just like me, I'm totally extreme, right? So we have like half of the city ultra modern, right? And the other half of the city is like from back in the 1500s.
Okay.
I mean, it's just absolutely rich and just I just love it. So if I were to move back to Europe, it'd be Strasbourg would be the city, right? How about you?
I would say Sweden.
Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oslo. What's the big city in
Stockholm.
Sweden? Okay.
It would be, yes.
Right. That's
It's
the big.
It's,
that the
it's
capital?
not a big city. It's the capital of Sweden. We only have maybe 2.5 million people, inhabitant there. So, I mean, it's not crowded. It's very simple, nice, very peaceful city, I would say.
Okay. I heard it has the highest and friendliest and happiest people on earth. Is that right? Is it Sweden or is it Finland?
I think Scandinavian countries.
Yeah, the Scandinavian.
So they're kind of in the top 10.
Yeah.
When it comes to that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And now they're applying for NATO, right? So hopefully they get accepted, you know, and they get not too much slack from. I think they're getting some slack from Turkey.
Yeah, but they fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sorted it out.
Exactly. Well, anyway, so back to you. I'm really interested in your story because in many ways it mirrors mine, right? I lived in the United States all my life, okay, or you know, up to recently, about 2016, 2015, when I decided to come back to the Philippines more and more. But for about 30, 40 years, you know, I was in the U.S., right? I was comfortable living in the United States, right? The big open streets, the sidewalks, you know, I mean, the United States actually has sidewalks. The Philippines here don't have sidewalks, right? Or if they do, oftentimes it's so small and broken up, and I actually have to I find myself, and many people do, find themselves like walking on the street, right, versus the sidewalk, which poses some safety issues. But you know, living in the United States was so vastly different than it is living here. It's a big culture shock for me. Your culture shock going to Sweden was what? What did you experience?
I think when it comes to like systems and orders, you know, here in the Philippines, if you go do some errands, sometimes it can be very easy if you know people, if you have the network. But in Sweden, it's very important that you do it the right way.
Yeah.
So, of course, for me, it was better in Sweden. So the struggle is that when I come back to the Philippines, because you know, I've learned that kind of culture in there, and for me, it's important that we do it the right way. So, for example, when I buy something and someone cuts the line,
here,
in the Philippines, I get a bit of irritation. I get irritated when I see people do that. But you know, it's just like a simple example of like the order and the systems and the policies and the rules that they have that is kind of strict, and people, they have full respect when it comes to that, and trust to the government. While here you can do it in some other ways as well.
Oh, so
that was my challenge in some way.
Yeah, I gotta say, I had a story once when I first came to the Philippines, and I had to go buy groceries. Oh my God! You know, so there was it was 6 deep, right? And all the checkout aisles were all pretty full, and the lady who was being checked out at the time, it was just taking forever, right? And I got agitated, And I said, what is going on here? Why is it so slow, right? Because I guess when they check out, they check out every item,
Right.
right? And I got really irritated. I mean, to a point where the manager had to actually come up to me, right, and bring me to a different checkout, which was shorter. She had to actually put me in line just to shut me up, right? And it wasn't until later on that I realized here in the Philippines, things are actually slower.
Right.
They're not as efficient, right?
Of course, there are many things in the Philippine culture that is also quite good. There's also one thing that made me reflected when I was in Sweden. It's when it comes to equality there.
Yeah.
Stereotype when it comes to, for example, your sexual preference, when it comes to your right as an individual, is quite different legally in Sweden than in the Philippines. So that was kind of my adjustment as well, because here it's okay to bully someone, for example.
Yeah.
There in Sweden, if you say a word that can put others down, or that can make other people feel offended or something, you can be in trouble.
Yeah.
And they're very, very careful when it comes to like the individual rights and protection in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was kind of a
it's
challenge
huge
as well.
disparity. That's a real big cultural shock for you, right? But so what was it that now you come back to the Philippines and you have your master's in education, right? But yet you decided to get into entrepreneurship. I mean, what was the switch? I mean, yesterday, our last interview was with Dr. Cynthia. Okay. And she started off as an admin, but yet then she went on for her higher education. She went on to get her master's, and from her master's, she got her PhD. And now she's a professor at the Bicol University. And you went almost to a similar route, got your master's, but then you came back and you decided to open up a business. Why is that?
I think there are several factors, I would say. First of all, it's the purpose, my purpose. And it has always been that I really would like to help other people. And Philippines is the perfect country for that.
Right.
Because not only that I was born here, but also I've seen a lot of people suffer in here.
Yeah.
I've been doing a couple of
based on your own experience as well.
Charitable work here in the Philippines before. So I kind of laid down a foundation, and I would like to continue with that. Secondly, I always wanted to do something that is outside of my comfort zone. And I'd been in the field of education for many years, more than 20 years, and I thought maybe I could do something different. So I also would like to challenge myself. So when I came back in here, I kind of look at different options. What is it that I would like to do when it comes to putting up a business? And one of the driving forces was my cousin, because she kind of motivated me to kind of realize her dreams. It was actually her dream to put up Cafe Cronan. Because she had a background in culinary with specialization in pastries.
Right. So she was a pastry shop.
Yes.
Okay.
So she would talk to me, and she was like, "I really would like to put up a restaurant," and for me, it was kind of it was wonderful to hear it from my cousin, because I really like people who has ambition, because I was also like that when I was small, and I'm still am very ambitious, and I also would like to help out people to succeed in what they would like to do.
Help people out in terms of in what? In terms of providing them jobs and income, or helping them with specifically what?
I think for me, it was, of course, finances in the beginning. At the same time, the background that I had in Sweden was more on leadership and management. And it was, for me, it was a perfect opportunity as well to kind of share it in here when it comes to staff welfare and how to guide them. So that was kind of the driving force for me, and it was first of all my cousin who kind of motivated me
Yeah.
to open up a restaurant business, which is completely outside of my comfort zone, from
Yeah.
the field of education to restaurant
Yeah.
management, and then security agency, and maybe
Yeah.
it's all in the service sector.
Calling service?
Service sector.
Oh, okay.
Service
Yeah.
business sector, I would say.
So is that a separate business? I mean,
I mean, in the service, we have like a security services, like the food industry service.
oh, I see.
So it's like a general term for that,
Okay.
maybe.
All right.
It's also because I'm this kind of person who likes to interact with others.
Yeah.
I always would like to see myself collaborating and being creative with others, and also guiding them in many different
Yeah.
ways, and vice versa. So it's always been like the thing that I would like to venture more and learn more as I continue with what I would like to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, but at the same time, of course, to kind of provide employment in here,
Yeah.
and bring in like the Swedish culture when it comes to staff welfare.
Yeah.
So the staff welfare that I am kind of introducing here, and the staff development is kind of Swedish, with Swedish influence, I would say.
So that brings us now to your restaurant.
Right.
Right. So when I first met you, and I was talking to our mutual friend here, she said that you have a restaurant, right? And I remember walking up last night. I actually had the dinner here, and it was really wonderful, by the way.
Thank you.
If you're ever in Legazpi, you need to check out his restaurant, Cronan Cafe, Cafe Cronan.
Cafe Cronan,
Okay.
yes.
And at first, I didn't know it was yours. Our mutual friend just said, "Oh yeah, I'll take you to a restaurant of a friend of mine." And I remember walking up, and I was looking at the menu, and I was looking at the name, and I said, "Cafe Cronan," and I said, "That's not Filipino at all." Okay. And Cronan sounds more like it's either Greek or Mediterranean or Scandinavian.
Right.
Right? I think more Scandinavian than anything.
Yes.
But then when I was looking at the menu, there was nothing there that was really Scandinavian, right? Until I tasted it, and the taste was more like a fusion, right? So tell us, what was the inspiration of your restaurant?
Right. So the name is actually Swedish. It's called Cafe Cronan, and Cronan means crowns. So in English, it's called the Crown Cafe. Cronan is also the money symbol of Sweden.
Oh.
And it could also be like the chandelier.
And that's why it's like you have all these beautiful chandeliers here. I think you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, you got like about 6 or 7 chandeliers in your place.
Yes. So that's kind of the inspiration of it. And what I would like to kind of introduce in here, it's a piece of the Swedish culture, not only focusing on the food, because sometimes when you go to a restaurant, they always, like, if it's like a Greek restaurant, they focus on the food.
Yeah.
But here it's all about the experience, the ambience, and also the culture of fika. Fika is like a Swedish word that means that is like a ritual that we have in Sweden. That if whenever you would like to go out, or to eat outside with your family, you go out for fika. You fika, basically, and that fika is a ritual that also means to kind of rebuild or build relationship with others, or to kind of build relationship with your own self. So for me, it's important that kind of we provide that ambience that people could feel like they could build a relationship with others. They could have a conversation. They could maybe stay in a corner and reflect, maybe alone, and build a relationship within themselves. I would say. So it's more of this kind of experience, and also like the aesthetic of it. So that's why I brought some of the chandeliers.
And I gotta say, it's like when everything from the way how I look at your menu to how your tables are set. I mean, your tables are larger, so it looks like it's more inviting for people to come in there with a smaller group or a bigger group. right, than maybe one or two. Although you do have tables here that could accommodate people who are just, two
Right.
people, right?
But also we have this, tagline that says affordable elegance. And for me, it's quite important that, that we cater to
Yeah.
everybody. So if you look at the prices, it's actually very affordable.
Yeah.
And it's quite a few only with this kind of concept maybe
Yeah.
in the Philippines, because
Yeah.
when you see chandelier,
Yeah.
it speaks maybe elegance and money.
Yeah, it's expensive. You got these imported, or are they
Yes,
here from
yes.
the Philippines?
I
Imported.
brought them from Sweden.
Wow, this is Swedish chandeliers. I mean, I hope they're not that expensive Swedish crystal.
Well, they're also reasonable.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's beautiful.
maybe affordable, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the equality, the Swedish culture when it comes to equality
Yeah.
is quite important for
Yeah.
me. And that's something that I would like to
Yeah.
kind of introduce in here as well. That even if you're a student, you can still dine into a nice looking,
Sure.
comfortable and cozy
Yeah.
restaurant without paying
Yeah.
thousands of pesos.
In fact, I mean, everything that you've done reflects your vision, right? And even when I look at your pricing structure, you have solo, you have people, plates for 4 to 6 and 6 to 10 and so on. So it really priced it out so that if you're here to have a feast with your family, right, you could buy enough food to feed everybody,
Right.
right? I think that's really great. Now, when you open up your restaurant, I mean, there were some challenges, right? What was the biggest challenges that you've had, and what level of motivation and inspiration did you have to pull from in order for you to survive those challenges?
Right. We opened this one, that was 2001, January.
2001.
Yeah. And 2 months after, we were hit by the pandemic.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, I think that was the most challenging part that we
Yeah.
actually had. And maybe for many
Yeah.
businessmen and many people here in the Philippines. So we kind of thought of maybe closing down the business for a while, but we didn't. The motivation that we had was actually the social responsibility. We know that in business, it's there will always be ups and downs, and it's given.
Yeah.
And we were not afraid to face, the downside of it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think we were very determined that we will surpass
Yeah.
the challenges being brought by the pandemic, and it's actually the staff that kind of hold us strong together. We kind of thought of their welfare and well-being, and during that time, we kind of disconnected to the business part of earning,
Yeah.
but to kind of help out. So that was kind of the shift from
Yeah.
helping and earning to
Sure.
just helping, because we know that we won't be able to earn money. We will be losing
Yeah.
a lot of money along the way, and it took us 2 years, but we sustained it. It's
Yeah, because it was closed down. There was some lockdowns, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how were you surviving at that time? I mean, it's how were you making sales? I mean, was it through?
Well, sometimes we didn't even make any sales. Like
Yeah.
during the day, it was like zero,
Yeah.
literally. But I think we kind of prepared for it financially. We know that it's going to be.
So you had savings,
Yes,
and you
yeah.
had.
So
I gotta say, it's amazing how you were able to open up the restaurant. Okay, number one, in a pandemic. Number two is like, I mean, just to open up this place and to fix it up, and it costs money,
right.
right? Maybe, I don't know, a couple mil, maybe,
That's correct. Yes.
right? Where'd you get the money for that?
I've saved a lot actually. I've been doing.
So you're a saver.
Yeah, I've also been doing like on the side business when I was in Sweden. So it's like I was buying and selling real estates in there.
Real estate.
Yeah. It's like
Now, I gotta say, that is totally amazing. Okay, let's get this picture here, right? You have, you come from, slightly higher poverty class, all right, got your education, went to Thailand, then transferred over to Sweden, got your master's there, and of course, you gotta pay to live there, right? And then you were able to make enough money, to save enough money, to come back to the Philippines, to open up this restaurant, which I know is not cheap. So you have done something there,
Right.
in order for you to save that money,
That's correct. Yeah.
right? What was the motivation on that? I mean,
I'm a hard worker.
Yeah.
I'm also very ambitious, that's what I've said before, and I target goals. So on the side, I have this business like buying and selling apartments, but at the same
Yeah.
time, I have this full-time job as a principal, the director of international
Okay.
schools. So yeah, I mean, it gave me comfort. I would say those.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I think the lesson here, and what a lot of people can get, is what? With ambition and courage, and most importantly, savings, right? And looking at the opportunity, you were able to do this, even when you started off with nothing. Because there's a lot of Filipinos that I know who are more concerned about how they look. So they go to the store and they buy an iPhone and they know they can't afford it. But they go out there and they buy an iPhone and they struggle to pay the monthly, right? Or they go out there to buy the clothing or go to the restaurants and they spend a lot of money, right? But yet you worked hard, you saved enough, and you're able to open up this restaurant.
Right.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
It really is, and I hope that there's enough people who would want to come to this restaurant and talk to you and find out your secret. So if you were to have a secret, right, to your success, what would that be?
I think it would be determination, and also by not giving up and being strong when it comes to like challenges. My childhood has helped, the experience that I had when I was a child and growing up here in the Philippines, it has helped me a lot in many different ways when it comes to my social skills and these life skills, I would say, to overcome and to maybe succeed in what I do.
Yeah.
Whether it's when it comes to the career that I've taken in Sweden, because I was quite happy with that as well. At the same time, the things that I do there when it comes to buying and selling apartments, and now here as well, like in the security services and restaurant and such. I think it's just not to give up when struggles come along your way. I'm very stubborn as well. Even if people tell me like, oh, it's not going to work out, this is the kind of person that I am as well, that I would prove them that they're wrong, and I still can do it. It's not an easy path, and I'm not saying that it's always been like a bed of roses for me, but I've always tried my best to rise above the situation, even if it's very difficult sometimes.
One of the things that you said yesterday is that we were talking about eagles and chickens, right? That if you're an eagle and you're stuck on the ground with chickens, chances are you'll never soar like an eagle.
Right.
Right? So, and you got to keep away from toxic people, right? So, and yesterday you said that your top 5 friends are all business owners themselves.
Right.
Right?
Not only that they're wonderful people, because for me it's also very important when it comes to personal relationship. At the same time, these are the people that actually make me grow, and also and vice versa. So we contribute to each other's development, whether it's personal or professional, and when it comes to business as well. And I think it's very important for me to kind of focus on them instead of focusing your time with other people that maybe won't help you to grow and to make you become a nice and a better person. So for me, it's always like that when it comes to finding the network
Yeah.
Will they make me become a better person? Will they make me successful in what I do? And vice versa. Because it's also important to reciprocate that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had been very lucky, I think, in
We're
finding
very fortunate
the people in
about
here.
that, you know. So, if there's one thing that people who are listening or watching this program to learn, is that you know, there's this golden rule that they say, right? Your income, your health, your level of success, where you are in life, is the average of the 5 to 6 or 7 people that you associate with, you hang out with, your friends, right? So if many of your friends are smokers or they have ill health, chances are you yourself will have ill health, right? Your friends are all lazy, chances are you're going to be lazy too, right? The average of all their incomes is how much you're going to be making. So if you want more in life, you have to associate yourself and hang out with those who inspires, who motivates you, right? To have a higher level of life.
Right.
Right? In fact, if you want to be rich, right, and you're middle income or even poor, hang out with the rich.
That's true, yeah.
Right? That is the secret of wealth. If you want to have this amount of money or this level of success in life, right? Even though you're all the way down here, go out and hang out. Befriends the people who you want to be at their level.
Right.
Because the cream always rises to the top. They're going to teach you stuff. They're going to tell you things. They're going to introduce you to friends. They might invest in your business or into your idea, right? And as long as they see that you are striving to reach their level, they'll accept you in.
Right.
Right?
And there's nothing wrong with that. Because,
Yeah.
you know, right here in the Philippines, when you come from a poor family and you associate yourself and you get friends from, you know, from the upper class, they would judge you.
That's
And
right.
I think that they would judge you because they would say, oh,
Yeah.
now, you know, now that he's doing well, and
Yeah.
when it comes to his status in life, he's associating with the rich ones, and they're, you know, he's forgetting us or what.
Yeah.
I think we should disconnect with that kind of mindset, because it's very important for me. My experience is that, you know, the circle of friends that I have, I will never replace them with people that won't really help me
Correct.
to grow and to become a better person. For me, I think that's kind of a taboo to talk about in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like when you're from the poor family, you can't be friends with the rich ones.
Yeah.
Because then they will look at you in a different way.
Yeah.
But you know, it also comes down into who you are as a person.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, the rich people are also good people. They're
Yeah.
also looking for people that they could relate with, people that are nice and wonderful people.
Yeah.
Not only that, you know, people that can share the same mindset as them. So it's like kind of a balance.
What would you
That's-
consider? What would your be advice to people to develop their mindset? What should they do?
I think they should be open and they shouldn't think of what others would think, especially, you know, here in the Philippines. The culture that we have, we're very concerned of what other people will think about us.
Yeah.
And that you should just go to how you feel that would kind of help you to develop and grow.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, as long as you're ready to kind of face the challenges along the way that comes with it and the consequences, I mean, that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with you know, having this thought of becoming a rich person or earning a lot of money and such.
Yeah. All right.
I really would like to kind of say it openly to some of the Filipinos that think that money is
Yeah.
the root of all evil.
Yeah.
For me, it's how you actually use it, how you use the resources. You can
Right.
really make a big difference in the lives of others if
Yeah.
you use it right.
Yeah. You know, you talked earlier about a foundation, right? What kind of foundation do you either have or do you want to start?
Well, when I was working before in Sweden, we've kind of been introducing community services here in the Philippines, and that's helping school children.
children.
Yes.
Is it in terms of education, health, social
It's
welfare?
Basically education. That's the first step for
Education.
me. And maybe next is the health. So I was kind of hoping 5 years from now, when I think about my vision, I'd like to have a very stable foundation that's connected to my business, which is
Wow.
going to be the SSA Foundation, helping finance children to go to school, especially the underprivileged children.
And you know what? That really is an amazing segue into my next question, right? Because Helen Keller, she's a blind and deaf young woman, all right, many years ago. And she ended up becoming such an amazing inspiration to millions of people throughout the years. And one of the quotes that she has written or said, she said that it's a terrible thing to see, but yet have no vision, right? Vision meaning the vision you have for your life, what you want to do. And so 5 years from now, okay, what do you want? What do you see in your life? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to have? Where do you want to be? Right?
I am actually a very focused individual, and I kind of have set goals like short-term and long-term goals. My vision in 5 years is to be the best employer in the Bicol region. I would start here in the Bicol region, having a minimum of maybe 5,000.
5,000?
5,000 workers, yes, happy workers.
That's huge. I think you're gonna be like what's the name of that guy? That billionario, Uy, right? You know, he has all these businesses and entrepreneur, and so how are you going to do that? You know,
I have a security agency, and it's actually national, so there's a big possibility to expand that. And we're talking about human resources in here, because it's individuals. So that's my target. 5,000, and also like to run a successful foundation that's connected to the agency, and to make money work for me.
And what kind of foundation is that?
It's going to be SSA, children's. It's a children's foundation.
Yeah. Wow. You know, it's I also have an idea for a foundation too. When I first came here to the Philippines, I saw many poor children, right? And there was this one time I was south of Manila, right? And we were at a port, and I was gonna board this boat to go to a different island, right? And I remember I was looking around and I saw this young kid, maybe he was about 3 years old, and he was alone sitting on a curb. And I looked around and say, where are the parents for this young kid? Why is this young boy just sitting half naked, dirty on the street? Where's his parents, right? And I just felt so bad for him. And I said, one day I want to come back to the Philippines and do something for these young kids, right? And so I had no idea. I didn't put out any kind of structure. But yet 20 years later, I am here now in the Philippines doing things for the kids. And my work is to help the young kids to be able to develop dreams for themselves. And to have them develop the right mindset to take those dreams and take it to the next level, to actually have them accomplished. So that's the basic crux of my foundation, and I do that through seminars and educations and books and courses and education. So maybe this is something that you and I could partner up in sometime in the future.
Why not?
But, yeah, but that's
Sounds
my
great.
dream. So in 5 years, you're going to have a healthy foundation.
Right.
You're going to have be employing 5,000 people.
That's the target.
Right. This restaurant will probably expand itself, right? And you ever see yourself going back to Sweden?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To move, to live, to
I mean,
visit. Live
I think to
part-time.
visit, yeah, live part-time. I think that's what I've said before. The feeling of belonging. It's actually Sweden, but
Yeah.
I have my family
It's
in here and my
powerful.
purpose in here. So it's nice to kind of experience both.
Yeah.
So the plan is to go to Sweden maybe for a while and then come back here.
Right. To actually, I think that's really beautiful. I myself, I've been thinking about moving and living part-time. Well, not moving, but living part-time in Europe, right? So definitely you're going to have to visit each other when you're in Sweden and
Absolutely.
when I'm in France, okay? So I want to thank you for being on our podcast. I mean, you are, just a story about your life and where you're going and the level of courage and dedication and commitment you have to better yourself is really, it's beautiful.
Thank
It
you.
really is, and I just wanted to say that to our viewers and our listeners that all it took for him was just a vision, an idea that he wanted something better for his life,
That's
right?
correct.
And most importantly, to have the courage to seek it out, and actually step into the darkness, right? Because our path is not lit. We have to create that path.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? We have to figure it out. We have to do the research. We have to bring in the necessary people who has the knowledge and experience that we don't have. Right? And it takes a lot. So I want to thank you for being on a podcast. Is there one last bit of motivation or inspiration that you wanted to share? I mean, just something that, like a takeaway, that people could use and remember to improve their lives.
Yeah. I think it's looking at possibilities all the time.
Yeah.
That's quite important. Wherever you go, look for that.
Yeah. I love that.
That's it.
So beautiful. So thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, Ray.
I really look forward to talking with you again in the future, of sharing our adventures, of maybe even being able to work together at some
Absolutely.
time in the future. So thanks a lot
It's been
for
a
being on
pleasure.
the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.